In this video, I'll show you how to solve this algebra problem. So the problem is, in a clock factory, Mike assembles, on average, 15 clocks in an hour, while his older and more experienced colleague, Steve, assembles 24 clocks in an hour. If the two workers were assigned two identical orders of 48 clocks, how many more minutes does it take Mike to assemble the clocks than it takes Steve? So let's just underline our important information here. So in a clock factory, Mike assembles on average 15 clocks in an hour. So 15 clocks in an hour was more older, while his older and more experienced colleague Steve assembles 24 clocks in an hour. If the two workers were assigned two identical orders of 48 clocks, how many more minutes does it take Mike to assemble the clocks than it takes Steve? So that's our question. So that's our question here. Now, now we've got two different perspectives. We've got Mike's perspective, he can do 15 clocks an hour, and Steve can do 24 clocks an hour. So let's go ahead and I'll just split our paper, just to make it easier to just organize our information. So we'll just write Mike on this side, and then this side we can have Steve. And Mike can do 15 clocks in an hour. So one thing that I should point out is that, see how we're given in an hour? We're given in terms of hours, the number of hours. But in our question here, it says minutes. So what should we do? We should convert this to minutes. And convert to minutes. And now we've got in an hour is just 60 minutes. So 15 clocks in 60 minutes. And let's just write it out for Steve. Steve can do 24 clocks in same amount of time, so 60 minutes. And now our question is saying, how many more minutes does it take Mike to assemble the clocks than it takes Steve? And we're given a total of 48 clocks. So each have 48 clocks to assemble. And first, what we should do with this type of problem is we have to approach it from each person's perspective, and then we put in this case, we subtract their totals. So let's just start with Mike. We have 15 clocks in 60 minutes, and we have a total of 48 clocks. How do we set that up? So what we can do here is the most efficient method in this is to set up a proportion. So we'll start with how long. So we'll start with 15. So he can assemble 15 clocks, and then we'll put this over 60 because 60 minutes. And that's equal to now 15 clocks and 60 minutes. And now 48 clocks would come up here because, remember, this would go across. So 15 clocks, 48 minutes, those correlate together, so we'll put them in the numerator together. And then this is unknown. That's x. That's what we're trying to find, how long it takes Mike to assemble it. So that's x. And now all we have to do is cross multiply. We'll go here, here. So that means we're left with 15x is equal to 48 times 60. So 48 times 6. And that'll be 0 on the end. So equal to 2880. And now what we do next is we isolate. So divide by 15, divide by 15. X is equal to That's equal to 192. So this is 192 minutes. It takes him 192 minutes to assemble 48 clocks. Now we're done with that, so let's move on to Steve's perspective. So once again, let's set up a proportion. We have 24 clocks in 60 minutes. And that will be equal to, remember, 48 clocks. That's the same terms, so we'll put them both in the numerator together. So that way the proportion actually correlates. And then our time to assemble 48 clocks is unknown, so we put it over x. And now once again, all we have to do is cross multiply. So now we have 24x is equal to, and now 2880. Then we would just divide by 24, and we write that different color. So now we would divide by 24, divide this by 24, and that means we're left with x is equal to 120. 120 minutes. So now we have both timings for how long it'll take each person. We're not at our final answer yet. Now let's go back to the question. How many minutes does it take Mike to assemble the clock than it takes Steve? So this is saying that how much longer does Mike take? That's essentially what the question is asking. We'll just break the question down into easier terms. So it's just, how much longer does Mike take? So what we have to do is we simply take the amount of time Mike took, and then so we take the amount of time Mike had, and then we subtract it from the amount of time Steve took. So that'll just look like, let's draw a little arrow to show that we are now using both people. And now we'll take 192 minus 120. And now before that, we'll just label, just a little bit of labeling. So this is Mike's time, and this is Steve's time. Now what we'll do is so 2, and that'll be 7. So now we're left with 72 minutes, and that will be our final answer. So where's 72 on this? And that'll be answer choice B. So thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe and watch out for future videos. Thank you.